Hello and welcome everyone to Copy and Paste, the clean and family friendly Reddit reading podcast. This is the 8th episode of r/AskReddit, which is my favorite subreddit, and should be yours too. And don't forget, if you like this podcast, then it would be greatly appreciated for you to like and subscribe. Thank you for joining me. Okay, let's get started. And the first post by an NSFW account. What two jobs are fine on their own, but suspicious if you work both of them? Trying Reddit says congressman and investor. Meaning silly says judge in private detention facility shareholder. Questioned answers says locksmith/pawn shop. Willie Maneth says, my grandpa and dad used to be the rural city's ambulance drivers, as well as the mortician service, until it was ruled a conflict of interest. Rarely bleep says antique jewelry dealer and funeral director. Daniel Don says plastic surgeon and psychiatrist. And then in quotes, you seem to be very self-conscious about your appearance. I know just the procedure that can get you your confidence back. Flynn FN says dentist and candy seller. Dancing Bear 2020 says wedding planner and divorce planner. And knows how to spell says veterinarian and taxidermist. And then there was a reply to that saying either way you get your pet back. And the second post by user /emclouds. You suddenly travel back 100,000 years to a cave that will eventually be discovered by archaeologists. What do you write on the wall to mess with them? Lakewood 2020 says, a model of our solar system with an arrow pointing to Pluto saying the key. Car Kill Now says, draw a picture of Earth from space. Draw it as Pangea to really confuse them. The Donut Man 55 says, find the exact person who will discover it, write down the address, and with a specific date, and then just watch them freak out. Hey, I'm Zen replies to that, saying, then add, we will come for you. Steeple Fun says, congratulations, you have found the second clue. To find the third and final clue, go back to the first clue and read it backwards. Rezorazol says 1 minus 1 equals 0. Better Than a Master replies to that saying, you're talking about the invention of zero. Nearly 100,000 years before it was first seen. Revolutionary mathematics. This would change virtually everything historians know about the past. Godgoo says, we're expecting self-driving mammoths by next year. E-Tusk. Immediate Air 8700 says, a hieroglyph of aliens struggling to build the pyramids until the Egyptians intervene. Naiksu says, my sincerest apologies to Mr. Hawking for missing his party. It appears I overshot. You need some kind of context for this. On June 28th, 2009, Stephen Hawking threw a party for time travelers, and then the next day, he sent out the invitation. And I quote, copies of it will survive in one form or another for many thousands of years, he said in a documentary. And the next post by user /GlytchedTTV. Teachers of Reddit, what was the worst thing you had to confiscate from a student? Ranjit Kumar Singh says, a gorilla mask. Yes. Dude put it on while my back was turning and facing the board. I laughed like hell, then took it for the day until his parents collected it. Tem Pack into Now says, over the course of years, a bottle of vodka hidden in the girls' bathroom by 7th graders. How did he know where to look? Everyone who came back from the bathroom was drunk, so you're not as sneaky as you think. A vape. My mom gave it to me for allergies, so I'll just give it back to her then. Wide eyes. No. Looking Glass Z says, not necessarily the craziest thing to confiscate, but the effect that confiscating the item had on the student was pretty upsetting. For background, I'm an elementary special education teacher for students with emotional disabilities and intense behaviors. These students have behaviors that range from yelling, throwing things, and leaving the classroom to students who have attempted suicide and students who have assaulted their peers or the school staff. I even had a student go for a cop's gun one time. The student in question was in 1st grade at the time, and fairly low-key compared to some of the other kids I had. This student and I had a good relationship, as I was one of the only male staff in the building. He lacked a reliable male figure in his life, and for the majority of his kindergarten year, I was the primary teacher working with him. One day, my student had asked to use the restroom, and for most of my students, our staff will escort them to and from the restroom, so I went with him. Now it's been several years, so the details are fuzzy, but somehow it was brought to my attention that there was burnt toilet paper in the boys' restroom. I can't remember if my student or another student told me, but I want to say it was my old student. This sets off some alarms in my head, so I contact my admin team so they're aware. As we're going forward with our day, I notice that my student is fidgety and messing with something in their jacket pocket. So I ask them if I can check their pocket, and instead of saying yes, he pulls out a little Bic lighter and tells me that he found it and asks me to keep it a secret. Of course, I can't just turn a blind eye, so I report it to my admin team, and we sit down with the student to talk about fire safety. We explained how playing with lighters isn't safe and that he could hurt himself or others if he accidentally started a fire that got out of control. My student feels awful. He's apologizing and feeling remorseful. He admits to us that he had been messing around with lighters at home when his mum was sleeping. We contacted his mother to tell her what happened and what he had told us, and her response was unfortunate. She was furious with us, told us there was no way that he had brought a lighter, and that it must have been planted by a peer, that we coerced a confession out of him, and that she was pulling him out of school immediately. Within a year, the family's house burned down, and my former student was severely burned in the fire. Magna Cartwheel says, my mum has been a primary teacher for her whole life now in the UK, and the worst incident she had to deal with was a girl aged 10 who was having issues with a boy essentially bullying her. She told her dad, and her dad's solution was to give her a sawn-off shotgun to intimidate the boy. No one knew it was unloaded, but the hell it raised was when a 10-year-old schoolgirl brings out a shotgun, suddenly put the boy off from ever coming near her again. What? I cannot. Oh my god. America. And hopefully I don't get copyrighted for that. Luca the Puka says, preschool teacher here. I had to convince a 4-year-old that his mum's wedding ring should go into a special box on the front desk instead of on the finger of a 6-year-old girl he had a crush on. Later, he brought in his dad's car keys and a bottle opener. And the final post by user/moneyassociate1601. What's something you look forward to every single day? Avocado Salt and Lime says, I live at a friend's family house. They offered me shelter after I became homeless, and every night I go to my car to read. I find that reading in my car every night before going to sleep gives this family a chance to get a break from seeing me, and I get a chance to be calm and away from everyone. They are amazing people, and it's been so fun. I'm so thankful that they let me stay in their living room, but they tend to use it at night to watch a movie or a family time, so I can take a chance to let them be, and I get a chance to learn something and relax in my car. Fifth Summer's brother says, my morning walk, so I can listen to my podcasts. Hey, wink wink, nudge nudge, link tree in the description. All the platforms to listen to my podcast. ELP Work says, getting home from work. I really enjoy that whole not at work time. Send Boba says, changing out of work clothes and into pajamas. Lady Star Kitten says, honestly, every part of my home. As the daughter of an alcoholic hoarder, grew up in a very dysfunctional and at times abusive household. It was always dirty, loud, stressful, and unstructured. Now that I'm an adult with the power to control my environment and lifestyle, I keep a clean, peaceful home. My bed is made, my carpet is vacuumed. I get to hang out with my cats and a good book and not have to worry about the electricity being shut off, or my mom not coming home from the bar, or any number of financial concerns that managed to steal my childhood away. I have what I dreamed of as having when I was a little girl: autonomy and calm. DGTISTA says, I have 30 minutes in my day in between work, where I just sit on a bench in this park. No phone, no earphones, nothing, but just me enjoying the sound of birds and whooshing of the trees. I feel most at peace during that time. And unfortunately, with that relaxing post, that was it for today. If you enjoyed this podcast, I'd greatly appreciate for you to like and subscribe. To listen to this podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or one of many more platforms, or to visit any of my socials, click the link in the description. And please feel free to send me an audio message or leave a comment. It's been a pleasure. Goodbye.